PuMa, he's just been showing really strong TVT play. He played Braddock. We saw that, quote, best game you've ever seen.
It was the best game you've ever seen.
And when Greetorp says that, he means
YouTube.com/NAStarLeague
Braddock versus PuMa, week 4.
89AA4278659BCDR.
What are you saying?
That's the YouTube.com. Like,
oh. No, it's just youtube.com/NAStarLeague.
I know, slash. You know how it's like.
All right, man.
Gosh, you don't know anything, man. You don't know
I don't
anything.
know. I do. I know something. I know our YouTube. I know that I know that you're Malaysian.
And
that you got a
no. Like, what else am I?
1540 in your SATs.
What else am I besides Malaysian?
You're also a male. You're also a Starcraft player. You're also part Polynesian.
Nope.
And also you got a tinge of Malaysian with your part Australian as well, which explains your accent.
I come from a land down under.
But I'm enough with bad guessing. You're Andre. I don't even understand sometimes where you're from. You're a man from another world, as far as I'm.
Can't you hear that thunder?
Here in the top center, we have ClouD from Alternate Attack. What's going on here?
You better run. You better take cover.
In the bottom center, we have PuMa from Team Evil Geniuses, coming off a loss against Sauce, but his TVT is still very strong.
That was an amazing show match, by the way. If you haven't already, check it out.
It went to Game 7.
Yeah.
That's as far as we'll say.
Check it out at, of course, twitch.tv/NASL S3. Of course, you need an HD pass to watch all of those, but it is from the Sunday show match. Fantastic games by both of those players. I won't spoil it.
Yeah, and PuMa's been practicing hard. We talked to him. We say, PuMa, why no GSL Code A? You know, it's like you win NASL,
Twice.
and yet you can't even stay into GSL. And PuMa just like, oh, it's so hard. You know, he's just like saying, oh, everything is so hard, and it's so funny too, because like PuMa is just like such a fun, lovable guy, and you know, hopefully he can do well. But for now, we see PuMa going for a fast tech lab after his refinery. So we see also a fast tech lab here from ClouD, but it's a little bit delayed, just squeezing in an extra SUV or two. So this is Shattered Temple Reaper expands. What do you think about this?
It's okay.
It's okay.
I think Reaper expand is just
the best
punishing
build
people.
in the world, man.
No.
I opened Reaper expand actually in TVT as well.
I think Reaper expand is actually one of the worst builds.
Whoa, easy now.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not one of the worst builds, but it is a bad build. Sorry, Bitter. I completely disagree with you. The main reason why I think it's a really bad build is because it showcases exactly what you're doing. You have no other alternatives. There's two major paths that you have from there. It is a delayed one-base Banshee tech just to play mind games, and there's also, well, the other way is to get a really fast upgrade and go for bio. What that does, it forces, well, it allows your opponent to make very easy decisions as soon as the Reaper is scouted. So it's like the person that isn't Reapering can do a lot of different mind games and make it very difficult for the person that is Reapering to defend against different all-ins.
Reapering?
Reapering.
Is it just reaping? I think that sounds better.
Well, it's
just like when you said NG Bay. It's just called an eBay, dude. But, you know, I hear what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
There's also one build that you just forgot. Slayer's Boxer used to do Reaper Hellion with drops.
Was off.
That was really cool when it worked. The one time it worked, it was really cool.
The one time it worked.
Yeah, it was
That's
sick.
True.
Come on, you gotta love builds like that. But for now, both players are doing the exact same thing. 2 barracks after their command center. Now the difference is that PuMa started his on the high ground, ClouD starting his on the low ground, so he has that very temporary macro advantage. And wow, even the engineering base at the same time. This is looking to be the exact same thing down across the board.
Yeah, it's interesting that both these players haven't really scouted each other, but they know exactly what they're capable of. And I like the engineering base. I would actually love double engineering base for it in, because that's like another level of mind gaming.
You mean NG base?
NG base. Double NG base is really efficient because your opponents don't really have any capacity of pushing out, right? If I know you're doing the exact build that I'm doing, well, I'm not going to trek across the map and try to do some sort of huge timing. I know you've done the same exact stuff that I have. You have the potential of having the same as me. So if I go trek across the map, you have more units than me just because you have better reinforcements or faster reinforcements. So take that and say, okay, well, I know you don't have the capacity to actually make the decision to push on me. Let me double engineering bay or NG bay and get a really fast upgrade advantage on you. And now I actually have some sort of divergence from you. Did I just blow your mind?
No, what blew my mind is on the back of the Reaper is a giant T for Terran. Look at the center of the map. Look at the center of the map, Andre. It's a giant T for Terran.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Look, right there in the back. You zoom in, press the N button. No, keep it normal, man. You see that giant T?
Nope.
It's for Terran.
Where is it?
I guarantee you. Or Thomas.
Those are Protoss things,
or Thor. Maybe he's a big fan of Thor in the Avengers. But that's a T for Terran.
Going out of your mind.
That blew my mind. But we also see things, guys, like the things are pretty across. It's very standard. You go for fast stim. They got combat shields as well, so they can be safe. And they eventually can be pressuring each other with Marines and dropping everywhere. It's just interesting because they know each other so well, but at the same time, there's not much deviance whatsoever. The only thing is that ClouD's gotten his third gas a lot quicker than PuMa, and he's been racking up the gas count at this point.
It's because Reaper Expand, you can't do anything else. That's why Reaper Expand is so bad, man. People say
it's predictable.
It's so predictable, and it gives your opponent the easiest ability to actually react to it. As you said, you could do builds. Now, neither of these players are actually doing builds that punishes a Reaper Expand or tries to get an advantage. I don't think there's actually a way to punish it. But to get a pretty sizable advantage, no, you don't really have the capacity to do that. But, I mean, it still is very predictable, and that's why we see barely any scouting from each of these players. I mean, they don't really know what each other have. ClouD is being a little bit more greedy. He did not scan his opponent. Whereas, of course, PuMa did. Oh, I know why. Because PuMa didn't know that it was a Reaper Expand. Yeah. He showed his Reaper to the one SCV. So you can already see that ClouD just being able to see that gets that little advantage from the 270 minerals.
Yeah, he has a few more Marines as a result. Correct. We see that PuMa getting out his medevacs as well. Now, this is just so, it's just down to the exact same divide. The medevacs are coming out relative to the same time. This is about 10.5 minutes in the game. So both players, their builds are pretty significant in the sense that they've been practicing this a lot. Now here comes an interesting point of the game where ClouD really wants to put on a little bit of aggression. He has an option to double drop or just drop one, try to elevate her while pulling attention away, but he can't necessarily confront directly, as you can see as the scan pops off.
Oh, delayed stim coming out from ClouD, but it might still be enough. Wow, PuMa is going to be overrun here. And now he's going to give chase. If he takes out those medevacs, that'll be pretty critical. But no, he just drops back from there. Very nicely done from ClouD. And you can see those scans actually doing a little bit. Obviously, 540 minerals just wasted from 2 scans by PuMa. And unfortunately, because PuMa didn't know his opponent was Reaper Expanding, he wasn't able to take the center of the map. And that gave ClouD a much better position and obviously better units. You can see like just a chain reaction ever since the beginning from when ClouD knew his opponent was Reaper Expanding, his opponent didn't.
Yeah, and you could see that at this point PuMa just, he tried to go out and meet, but those few Marines made the difference there. ClouD playing a little bit greedier. As a result, was able to get a small advantage, but still it's not by any means game breaking. In TVT at this point, you really have to try to outposition your opponent, see if you can bait out Marines where they don't need to be. PuMa loading up one of his drops, trying to send it to the bottom left. And at this point, now it's getting to the point where it's going to be really hard to attack into the other opponent unless you get a straight-out positional advantage.
Yeah.
And Shadow Temple is one of these maps where you can really split in half, especially with the air divides and sensor towers and turrets. We can be in for a pretty long game here.
There's different ways of doing this. The most common way of actually splitting the map is just taking center control and suffocating your opponent, making it so hard for them to do anything. And the main reason for that is because they don't have the ability to defend all these different places. If I take center control, like ClouD has right now, hold on real quick. The top left-hand position, that command center is being under attack. He needs to send units over immediately. I don't think the Orbital Command Center will go down, but PuMa's still able to do a lot of damage here.
Yeah, and this gives PuMa a lot of information too.
Yes.
ClouD taking his third immediately. No 2-base, Marine tank. Any follow-up push. He can grab his third as well.
That's the cue to actually push out into the middle of the map and do something about it. 1-1 for both these players, so no huge upgrade advantage, but it looks like, where is he going with this?
He's going to take this third. He realizes it's not a gold, right?
I don't know.
Well,
he has Vikings, though.
He knows it now.
So he is looking to do pressure. Normally you won't go Vikings, because what purpose do they serve defensively, right? They're actually spotters for your siege tanks. So if you're getting Vikings, you're looking to, number one, take out the medevacs of your opponent, and number two, actually spot out for those siege tanks. Now, I like what we're seeing here. We see the units actually pushing over to the middle and trying to make it harder to read these drops. Obviously, if he had to drop without this center control, he would have to move a lot more. Like, just the distance covered would be much more extreme.
I feel you, bro. And we see the PuMa does have a tank advantage here, so ClouD has to be really cautious. But keep in mind, he can easily ferry over if he gets out of position and try to see if he can pick off some of the tanks. But the turrets are trying to also push back the medevacs. Oh, ClouD going to lose one of his medevacs. The Vikings also pushing back the medevacs as well. And regardless of what happens, ClouD is pretty much committed to this attack, dropping so much of his supply here into it. And PuMa, he's going to try to hold, but his tanks are way out of line.
Yeah, you know what? I think ClouD is going to be cleaned up here. I don't think he has a way to actually consistently go on to this. But oh, the engineering bay. The NG bay is being taken out here. He needs to go and repair that ASAP. He's not targeting it down. There goes one hit point away.
Wow.
My God. And the +1 armor does not get completed. In the meantime, the top left-hand corner, still one Marine chugging away at these SCVs. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at everything. 16 SCVs lost. 61 harvesters to 53, an advantage for PuMa ever so slightly, but the positional advantage goes to ClouD with this center control. And not only that, he has the more powerful Marine, so that helps out quite a bit, Frodan.
Yeah, he can live through DPS a little bit more, but PuMa does have a more intimidating tank count, at least for right now, positionally. No, just kidding. ClouD's been macroing this entire time. His tanks are not in position, though. And it's going to look like one of those tanks does end up dropping for ClouD, making it very hard for ClouD to even push in here. Now, I want to emphasize something. TVT is one of the easiest matchups to give up your lead in. But, ClouD's going to push in here and take out one of the tanks. PuMa reading his opponent's movements wrong. He's going to commit to this. The Vikings also flanking the medevacs. And PuMa is going to be able to hold here. He doesn't have the upgrade advantage. ClouD's running out of supply, though. And what has just happened? ClouD had the supply advantage, but all of his units just seem to evaporate into the force of PuMa's.
Well, he didn't have the siege tanks, he didn't have the medevac count either, and all the units were actually pretty badly damaged because there was some tank fodder that splashed up on those Marines, so it really gives PuMa that advantage, and holding off there is actually really instrumental. Now, the +3 is just now, or excuse me, the +3 armor is just started right now for ClouD, but the +3 attack is pretty much even. And from this, I thought PuMa was going to go and grab center control. That's probably the most important thing to do on Shattered Temple, but he actually plays a lot more passive, and I think that's a worse decision. The main reason for that is ClouD still has a couple of options. He can come around here and attack PuMa's third base and do a lot of damage. Ooh, perfect sensor tower timing. He can also go and attack around here and go for the main. So there's a lot of options for ClouD at this point, or he can go macro. We're going to see something soon. A drop from PuMa is going to go for the top left-hand corner, and there are no units yet again over here.
Very nice.
Goodbye SCVs, sir.
Yeah, he saw where the turrets were, so he purposely avoided them. And this is just going to be a huge pain in the butt. And this is exactly what PuMa's great at. And you can see that he's just being really disruptive. Now, how will ClouD react? He's bringing a lot of his Marines here just to clean it up, but the damage already has been dealt. PuMa up 67 to just 50 harvesters. Keep in mind, PuMa has 6 mineral patches on this exterior base here. He hasn't really been able to catch up too much in terms of resource count, but regardless, PuMa looking very solid at this point, and I don't think ClouD can actually break him.
Yeah, and it's a tough position because ClouD has the position advantage, but he doesn't have the economic advantage. So at this point, I think ClouD needs to take advantage of that and start utilizing his advantage. but he's been just so... I guess playing passive from here is okay as well, because PuMa doesn't really have a lot of options for efficient attacks. But it still is kind of rough. I mean, ClouD does need to do something about this. He can't just stay, you know, dormant this whole time.
And ClouD does have a tank advantage, but his medevac count is incredibly low. He was at 1 for a long time. You can see the third one is now finally out into the field. ClouD with quite an intimidating tank force, 13.
And again in the top left-hand corner.
Oh, man.
These Marines, my God. And he's going to go for the Orbital Command Center. He needs to spring to action and start repairing that ASAP.
Oh, it's going to be a race against time, but there's enough SCVs. And PuMa's like, okay, well, the SCV stopped running.
Oh.
I can focus it. Great management here, and the Orbital Command will live. Man, that was a close call. But during this whole time, PuMa's been moving across the center of the map here, trying to see if he can get into a better position with his tanks. He scans and sees an incredible amount of tanks. ClouD does a massive unsiege, though. And I'm always scared in those moments, especially when I play TVT. When you do a massive unsiege, ClouD's playing with fire at this point. A scan, realizing that he doesn't have the tank position.
This is actually a really nice time for PuMa to go just inch up a little bit.
Just slowly.
Make it hard for his opponent to actually move around him. But at this point, this is when scans become so important. But here we go, a big death drop. And there are no turrets in the main. Marines are going to try to get over there, but it's not going to be in time. One Sea Tank is going to unload here. That will help out a little bit, but no units are in... are in position to prepare for this kind of drop, and there goes all the production of ClouD.
This is very, very key for PuMa. There it is, GGG.
Oh my God.
PuMa takes game number 1 with a fantastic maneuver with his dropships, deceiving ClouD and reading the situation perfectly. We were talking about his TVT and how he just seems to react very well, assuming he has good Banshee control. But... He scanned perfectly. Read it, is able to, he says, okay, he's unsieged. He's dispositioned from the center. Man, that was very well done by PuMa. And all the time also picking the perfect spots in the top left to constantly drop, making him think that that's the point where PuMa really wants to focus on. No, he's going to go for the main.
I do want to say it was ClouD's game to lose at that point, though. He was ahead from the beginning. He had great position because of that. Taking that center control gives you so many more options than being the one that doesn't have center control. Obviously, PuMa had to trek a lot longer, and there are some key spots that ClouD should always just have something in defense. Sensor towers are a must. PuMa had 2 sensor towers up. ClouD didn't have any. Those things are map hacks. Go and use them. Go and build them, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I think it's because of that. He wasn't able to have units in position, and there were just... what was that? Maybe 5 different drops that just absolutely crushed ClouD. There was never a huge engagement, I thought, where the Siege Tanks could actually do something about it. ClouD still maintained his great position. He was able to do a lot of stuff from that, but he just didn't use his advantage. Half is in part to PuMa's great ability to actually see where his opponent's units are. Half was the fact that obviously PuMa was doing a lot of damage to his opponent.
And really keeping ClouD at bay was the key to that victory. Guys, thank you so much to Azo for providing the monitors for NASL Season 3 so we can watch these games even happen. Check them out at azo.com. Don't go anywhere. Game number 2 between PuMa versus ClouD. Will ClouD be able to complete the upset, or will PuMa just close it out right here? Find out after this commercial break.